What's up, coaches? It is Bria Evenson here. I am tapping in to do Action Hour with you guys from Phoenix, Arizona area. I'm originally a Canadian coach from outside of Toronto, a small town outside of Toronto. And I've been a coach for a while now. I feel like I heard maybe Summer Tucker once use the term Beachbody old, or somebody used it. Hey, Amy, thanks for hopping on. And I think that's where I'm at now. I'm Beachbody old, but I'm almost thinking, wait, maybe I'm just more Beachbody experienced. So I feel like it'll be 6 years officially that I really dove into my business next month, 6 years. And in that time, you know, I have moved countries twice, once from Minnesota to Ontario, from Ontario back to Arizona. And that's a lot of ups and downs in a life and in a business. And throughout that time, I have adored this business and adored what it has been able to do for myself and my family, and the people I get to connect with. I feel like so much, you guys, we're so lucky here. It's like we're constantly collecting amazing people and leveling up because of the amazing people that we're surrounded by. So I'm excited because the crux of my business, no matter where I have, whatever's been going on in my life, ups and downs and all arounds, has always been this action hour. And I say to my team too sometimes, like, I recall being, you know, sneaking out of hotel bedrooms and sitting on the floor of hotel bathrooms to get my action hour in, because this, no matter what else is going on in your business, this is what drives your business forward. This is what, no matter what else you have time for, this action hour, these activities that we do are what your business can live and breathe on. If you don't do them, it won't happen. It will eventually slow down and stop. So no matter where I've been, no matter what's been going on with my life, it's how I'm 70 plus months in a row in Success Club 10. It's the basis of how I've been 4-time elite. And I want to go through my action hour with you guys today and hopefully share some. I know everybody does it a little bit differently, but I'm just going to share kind of the tips and hacks that really work well for me and my personality that I try to share with my team. So I want you to feel free, like, you can ask questions. We are actually going to work in this hour. It's going to be an hour long, so there'll be times where I'm working and you're working, and I'm excited to feel like I'm working alongside of you. So that being said, before I ever do any action hour, I think that the most important thing, and I do this before each section of my action hour as well, so we'll talk about that as we go, is this mindset piece. Everybody is different, but for me, my mindset plays such a significant role in the energy that I'm able to put out. And energy out is energy in, right? So if I'm putting something negative out, nothing good is coming back at me. So getting our minds right in the first place, and it's why I remember in my early years listening on the National Wake Up Call, and I'd hear all the top coaches always talking about, you know, how it was personal development that changed everything for them. And I believed it, but I didn't quite get it. And now I understand, because it's not just listening to something, it's leveling up that energy, that positivity, all the good things going on in your life, and always keeping that positive mindset going and reminding yourself what you're capable of. So before we dive into the action hour, and I have some notes here, so apologize if I look down at my notepad here, but I want to share with you two things. One, the most important thing that I ever do, and that I think you ever do, and that we ever do as coaches, is focus on being the light for other people. That's where all of this starts from. I can't lead the way. I can't bubble up with excitement over how much I'm loving Morning Meltdown, over the impact that it's having in my life as a mom, as a wife, as a friend. I can't bubble up over any of that if I'm not focused on me first. So making sure that no matter what, you're being that light for other people by serving yourself first is such a critical part of keeping our mindset right. And anytime my business has had downs in the last 6 years, it's because I haven't been leaning into me and my journey. So before you do anything else, make sure that you have nailed you for the day. Serve yourself, fill your cup. It's such a critical part of this. And then what we get to do is we get to pour that cup out over, and that's what the action hour is all about. I remember when I decided to do this, when I decided to coach, and there I was, and I remember being so full of hope and anticipation and excitement and a bundle of nerves and of course fear and doubt, all the things that we feel, not even just at the beginning of our business, but for years and years after you start it. And I remember sitting down with my dad, who's always been such an important person in my life. He's an entrepreneur. And I remember telling him about wanting to do this nervously, right? I'm looking for approval. That's often what we do with our parents. And he said to me, Tweeter, because that's what he calls me, I had a good friend who worked in an industry like you are right now, and he had a sign on his desk that said, I'm just looking for the people who are looking for me. And that moment is something I go back to all the time, because the first we become the light, and second we go out into the world and we try to spread that light just to the people who are looking for us. Not everyone is looking for us right now, but for those who are, we want to be that light for them, and that's what this action hour is all about. So without further ado, let's get into our action hour here. And actually, I should tell you, one of my favorite things, I do use the Success Club tracker system. It's been how, as I said, how I've built my business. In the very beginning when I didn't know what I was doing, it was like, okay, we had, it was not called this. I'm trying to remember what it was even called then. Daily activity tracker or something like that. The BAT, the business activity tracker. So really similar. They've now like made it even better, which is awesome with the times and everything in there. But that was exactly what I did every single day. Now I will give you right up ahead before we dive into the actual work, I'm going to give you 4 little tips and hacks that might work for you, that work really well for me, and that I share with my team all the time. Number 1, planning for your week of success, because I know you're as busy as I am. You probably have 100 things on the go, and they always say if you want something done, give it to a busy person, because we plan. So what I do is make sure whatever day of the week is my rest day, like as in I'm not working out, I get up at the exact same time and I plan the things that need to be planned for my success that week. I plan my nutrition, like I create our meal plan real quick as a family. I plan when I'm gonna do my workouts, what PD I'm gonna listen to and when I'm gonna listen to it. I plan out my 7 posts, 1 per day. I post once a day in Facebook and Instagram. I look at my goals, like I plan my goals for the week, and that's really my key planning time, because then when I sit down, I know I already have that post, which I know sticks people up a lot. I know what my theme and my focus is for the week, and I'm able to stay on task. So that's one little hack for your business or your Success Club system, is making sure that 1 day a week at least you're carving out time to plan. And I just take the time that I would normally allocate for a workout on my rest day to do it. Okay, my second thing is to number your tracker sheet for success. So what I mean by that, when you look at the Success Club system tracker, I have mine right in front of me here, so I have mine on my computer. Something I will share with you is that I'm a pen and paper person. I've tried so many things over these years, and at the end of the day, pen to paper really works for me. What I'm obsessed with right now, is working really well for me and my team, is Moira's Rise Up Planner. So if you are stuck and you don't have a tracking system or a planner that's working for you, this bomb. Get it on Amazon. No matter where you live, you can get it. It's awesome. It just puts everything in one place, which is really, really helpful. But what I mean by number your tracker sheet for success, when I'm looking at my Success Club system tracker, specifically in number 2, which is connect, invite, follow up, that's really our action hour time. We've got a few different things. We have initiate connections and add followers. We've got do your social media posts, post to your stories, respond to all your notifications, invite people to join the challenge group or learn about coaching, and of course, follow up. So we've got a few things in there. I recommend numbering so that you go in the order of the stickiest part first, the part that you hate, the one that you don't want to do first. This is kind of goes back to the whole eat your frog concept, if you've ever read that book. And if you haven't, great PD, get it on the list. I know that invitations and inviting is one of the most difficult things for me. So when I get into my action hour, that's typically what I do first. I get it off the table. I get going on it, and then everything else after that is cake. I had a teacher in high school who we went, I was part of like an environmental outdoors club. We went camping, and it was in April in Ontario, so very, very cold. And in the morning, at like 5:30 in the morning, he jumps in the lake. And he says after that, well, after this, nothing else is as cold. Everything else is easy if you do the hardest things like quick like a Band-Aid. So number your sheet. For me, that's always get my invites out, get my post out, because sometimes taking that time, and that's why I plan them on Sunday for my rest day, taking that time to pull stories out of yourself, pull real things that you want to share to yourself can be really difficult and can take people like a whole hour to do if they're not focused. So that's what I do. I label mine in the area and number them anyway in the way that makes the most sense for me. Okay, have your hot list. So you'll notice in this planner, but even if it's an Excel document or a pad of paper that you have next to your workspace, having a very specific hot list for your customers and for your coach prospects is so important at all times. Every month you want to have this hot list growing and growing. So when I'm inviting out, the moment someone responds back and says they're interested for more information, or yes, they want the quick details on what I'm doing, or maybe, yeah, they do want to set up a one-on-one call with me to talk about coaching, their name goes on that hot list. And that way they're never lost and forgotten. I'm always able to remember them. If I haven't heard from them for a little while, I'll follow up with them on my follow-up slots or on my follow-up day. And it's just a constant reminder of who expressed interest. I can't tell you how many times in these 6 years that I have finally followed up with someone, even after I've sent them maybe 3 or 4 messages, and then I gave them a little room to breathe, and I write them one more time, and they're like, thank you for following up with me. We think that we're bothering people, and sure, maybe sometimes we do, but at the end of the day, if your heart's in the right place, sometimes people feel really uncomfortable because they don't respond to you right away, and then they feel like they've let you down. I know I'm one of those people too. And so they don't want to write you at all because they've already feel like they've let you down and they've lost their opportunity to connect with you. So when you write someone back again, just with that intention that's very much like, I'm here when you're ready. It's okay if you're busy. If now's not the time, that's okay, with that permission almost to say no. Then it really bridges the gap and helps people know that you're there for them whenever, not just when you want to fill a challenge group. So make sure you have those hot lists ready. And the last hacker tip I want to give you before we get to work today, and this might not always work for everyone, because here's the thing. Consistency is so critical in this business. Like they always say, what we do here, and likewise with healthy living and weight loss, it's not complicated. It's very, very simple. Move your body, eat a certain way, like eat 3 meals, have your balance, drink your water, like really simple things. And in our action hour, it's post, add to your network, invite people, follow up, right? Simple system, but it's difficult because we have to be consistent in order to see results. Each step in this, every step in your action hour fuels the next step, right? So you have to do them all. But if you've nailed the consistency, like no matter what, you're showing up in every single one of your daily action hours, if you're showing up in that time, you can swap it around a little. And this works really well for me, and I know a lot of my teammates and a lot of the coaches on our team, to bulk your actions together. And what I mean by that is, like I was saying, on Sundays, I plan and schedule my content for the week. And then I am focused in on Sunday, scheduling the whole entire time. On Mondays, I'm focusing on inviting challengers. So maybe I focus Monday only on inviting. That's maybe my action hour. But it allows me to move faster through it or to reach more people. Saturdays are all about adding to my network. Who am I adding? Trying to get more than, if our action hour says add 5 to 10 a day, you might be able to add your 50 a day in a bulk way. So it helps us move a lot faster. I'm a total self-proclaimed efficiency junkie. I like any system that helps me move faster so I can accomplish more, but of course in a genuine way. So that's my last tip for you is if you've nailed, yes, I have an action hour, I never miss my action hour, then you can bulk your activities so that your action hour is really one key thing. And then of course, checking in, responding to messages, checking in with your challengers and all those things. Okay, that being said, let's get to work. So I'm going to just, for the sake of this, and for today, I'm going to do my action hour as we go. When I look at the second section of our Success Club tracker, the very first thing says or in number 2 of connect, invite, follow up, is initiate connections and add followers. So I'm going to leave some time for us to do this, but what I wanted to give to you guys is one, your mindset focus on it, and I wanted to share where I go to find followers and what I say to them and how I say that in case that helps you. Because I think people in this section, new coaches and myself included if I'm not aware, they fear and freeze up in this adding people. We all think, and you can even share below, what is it that stops you from adding followers and initiating connections with people that maybe you don't know very well or maybe you don't know at all? What is that thing? And I can tell you, I'm certain that for me and for most people, it's that they think it's odd to go and just reach out and talk to nobody. And they don't want to be annoying or be a creeper or be blocked, or they're worried about what other people are thinking when they send that out. Those are all very normal things. Here's the mindset piece I want you to have around this before I give you exactly what I do and give us some time to do it. The mindset around initiating conversations and inviting people to follow you or bringing them into your network is this. Have you ever been somewhere, maybe I'm thinking of my kids starting school, for the very first time, my daughter's starting middle school, or going to your first Super Saturday event, or I even remember one of my second or third leadership events. And as chatty as I am right now, I'm a bit more reserved in big groups of people. But I was at a leadership a couple years ago, and none of my team was there, have qualified for it yet. And my husband, who'd come with me, had a work call in the room, and I'm there at lunch and I'm all alone. And I have my lunch and I'm looking for a place to sit. And I remember a table of coaches, and these are people that I'm looking up to that inspire me. And I remember them being like, hey, do you have a place to sit? Come and sit here. I know we're almost done, but come sit with us. And the relief I felt because someone invited me to the party, all of a sudden I felt included because I didn't know where to go. I didn't know what to do. I know I was trying to go somewhere or do something. I wanted something, but I didn't know how to do that. And someone reached out and created that bridge for me. You guys, when it comes down to initiating conversations and adding followers to our team, we got to invite people to the party. What we have here is really special. We're sharing tools on a daily basis. Even just in our posts, we're sharing stories and tools that provide such amazing value to help people change their lives. Invite people to the party because they need that invitation, because it helps us feel included and a part of something. And when we don't have that, we can isolate ourselves and feel really insecure. So get that mindset right before we dive into this in adding connections and adding followers and initiating those conversations. Okay, so here's how we do it. We've got a few different ways that you can add followers each day. One, if you're a newer coach, you got to use the memory jogger. It's an amazing tool in your Coach Online office. You could even probably just Google it, and I'm sure it would show up somewhere, but it's going to be in the FAQ. It's in the training session for sure. The memory jogger helps us understand who is not in our network that should be in our network already, people that we know. Of course, getting out into the real world, if you're stuck connecting with people, it's time to go out for lunch. It's time to join a little club somewhere. It's time to go to your kids' events and open up and connect with the other parents around and add those people to your network. But the biggest thing I would say, and actually on one of the past coaches right here in the Beachbody Champions page did a really great share on the 5-3-1 method in Instagram. So make sure you go back and look at that. That's a great way to connect with people. But what I'm doing right now as a coach that's 6 years in, that's really working very well, is this. I have a free community, purely free, just where I'm working on bringing in women, like my kind of women who want to live healthy lives, who want to focus on being more and not less in life. And I just show up in that community every single day. And I've built my entire business mainly on Facebook, but I do make sure that my posts go and my stories go both in Facebook and Instagram. So what's working well for me right now is that I make sure that I post on Facebook and Instagram and in my stories on Facebook and Instagram. But in my stories and Instagram, the people who view my stories each day, and this is why it's important to do your daily stories, I will invite them to my community, my free community. It's called The She. It's where I share, nutrition hacks and things that work for me and just general mom shenanigans stuff of just women supporting women in a really positive, not even a Beachbody environment. I invite those people, I message them individually, I open up my stories on my phone. I'm looking for my phone right now, but it's right in front of me. Awesome. And I look at my stories and I message every single one of the people who are watching my stories and I invite them to my community because this is where we get to connect deeper. And when they request access into my community, then I friend request them then and bam, it added followers. So I want to take 10 minutes right now to let you guys go out, make sure that you're sending your friend requests or that you're doing a 531 method in your Instagram, or do what I did and just invite people to connect who are watching your stories. So I'm gonna set the timer. I love setting timers on my Apple Watch. That's what I use. We'll do it for, I think this is an important one. So we're gonna do it for 7 minutes. I know it says on here 20, but I think you can move quickly. So set a timer for 7 minutes.
Okay, 7 minutes and counting.
All right, let's get to work. It's time to add your followers, add to your network. And the other thing I would say, I guess right there is, I think if you're gonna send out a friend request, so different from what I was doing where I'm initially messaging people, I think it's really strange when people send me a friend request that I don't know and don't send me a message right away. Because why am I gonna be your friend if I don't know you? Like, I of course want to, but there's a lot of weirdos in this world. So let's just make sure that we send a message right away and let them know why we're requesting them into our network. Okay, so let's take these 7 minutes. If you have questions on this, I am here to answer them for you. I have done this part for me already, so I think I'll have to plug in my phone actually. So give us 7 minutes here. I wish I had music for you guys, sorry. I do not. I probably could find some. Got my phone plugged in. I really do think that so much of what we do has to do with our intention, right? That, if you are worried about being creepy or being pushy, and that's what you're thinking when you're messaging people, I really think that's how you're gonna come across. So really getting that mindset right, like inviting people to the party, collecting awesome people. That's really what we're trying to do here, is bring people together and invite the people in who are looking for us. And if they're not looking for us right now, that's okay. It's not a big deal, but let's find the people who are looking for us. Okay, we've got about 4 minutes left here, so get those people added to your network. send them some messages. If you're at the stage in your business where you can invest in it, investing in some type of ad as well is not a bad thing. It really depends. You're going to hear different coaches feel differently about that, but I think it's a great thing. It was how I was able to break out into my cold market. Actually, another little story that I was just thinking of as I'm inviting in here. I have one of a great coach on my team. I remember when she was first starting out, she was struggling in terms of inviting and connecting with a couple people. And one of her friends finally just said to her, you know, you're not inviting me to do drugs here. You know, you're inviting me to live a healthier life. So don't feel badly about it. And I think that's so such a valuable lesson as well. Like, you're reaching out with people because you want them to feel as good as you do, right? You want them to live a life that they are so happy about, that you want them to live their most healthy and fulfilling life. You're not trying to invite them so you make money off of them. You're not trying to invite them to do a negative thing. So that's a really important thing to remember as well. All right, we've got one more minute, guys. Let's finish up these followers, get them added in. Awesome. 30 seconds. Okay. I'm ending us here at 3, 2, 1. Awesome. Okay, so the next thing on our action hour items is to do a social media post that showcases the benefits of your healthy lifestyle or has a call to action. So like I said, one of my favorite things to do is actually create and plan these, because even though it says 10 minutes in this space, which is what it should create, you know, what it should be for you, it can be a really challenging thing if you haven't found your voice, or you don't know what you're saying, or maybe you just got interrupted 45 times by your child, or you're stressed out about something, and so your creativity and your honesty is just not flowing. That's an important thing that you can get stuck on. So spending one day to get in the mode and like pulling those out can really, really make a difference, and saving them places or pre-scheduling. But for the sake of this, I want to share a few tips that make a big difference for me when it comes to sharing on social media. I mean, and years ago, it was, you know, on the business activity tracker, it was 5 to, you know, post 3 to 5 times a day minimum. So that was that was a lot. Now we just have that kind of one a day and then really simple stories. So for a social post, okay, where people in your mindset piece, the mindset piece I want you to get right first is that I know people fear and freeze in this area because they don't know what to say or they don't want to annoy other people. And I actually had a coach once say, I don't even think I can coach anymore. I'm so sick of myself on social media. And I want to encourage you not to be sick of yourself. I want to encourage you to get out into the world, to do things that fill your cup, to try new things, to get creative when you can so that you don't hit moments where you're feeling like you're just posting a sweaty selfie all the time. That's not what we're trying to do here. We're trying to share value. We're trying to educate. We're trying to give tips and then also connect people into our story. So make sure that you're using personal development to get your mindset right. One thing that really helps me with knowing what to post or thinking what to post, because it really is, I think, this posting piece really has so much to do with our journey into ourselves and knowing ourselves. And the funny part about that is if you're a parent, like you have kids and you just lose yourself completely. So then all of a sudden we're asking you, or what your business is requiring of you, is to get to know yourself again. And it's a challenge for a lot of us. It's not easy to find out who you are on the inside and what you like and what you dislike again. And that's what's required really for us to share and really connect with other people, is being honest. So when my alarm goes off at 4 a.m., I allow myself one snooze, and in that period, I pop my earbuds in and I put on my PD and I listen to someone who lifts me up, or maybe sometimes it's even just a song, but listening to something that gives me little nuggets and gets me thinking, gives me something to post about already, gives my thought process thinking. And the bonus I want you to know about posting each day is that this is just a skill. You can develop it and work on it and get better at it. But your PD and your workouts and being the light, those things that help you be the light should prompt some of that stuff out of you. And then getting out in the world and doing new things will also do that. So here's my tip on posting if you get really stuck in this. 1, follow a schedule. A schedule or a specific plan of what you're posting and when will set you free. And what I mean by that is on Monday, post a personal story. Take the time to pull something out of yourself and share something with people. On Tuesday, share a quote, something that evokes emotion in you, whether it's humor or sadness or whatever it is, something that really touches your heart. On Wednesday, share a workout move. On Thursday, share another personal story, maybe more about coaching this time, right? On Friday, share a recipe. On Saturday, share something about how you're getting out in the world with your family. And on Sunday, share your results. Keep yourself accountable by sharing your results every single week. If you can't show results, maybe you aren't leaning in. So that's my schedule that I like to follow for my daily post. You can do that, or just make one up that works for you. But sometimes being like, okay, I need to find something. I'm going to share a recipe tomorrow, or when you're sitting down on Sunday, if you do like I do, then you're looking for these specific things, and that makes a big difference. The other thing I'd like to share with you, that's a tip. If you're a newer coach or you get really stuck in knowing what to say, I want you to consider going to ashleyshaw.ca. She is someone that helps me really find my voice. She does DFY posting to help you understand over 30 days how to take people through a journey. And you can actually purchase her stuff, use it for a month, and make it your own, and then understand the cadence of how you storytell, which is really great. So ashleyshaw.ca, that's ASHLEYSHAW.ca. So I'm going to give you guys some time to create your post right now, because that is on the action hour. It's so important, and I'll answer some questions as I do that. Kat, hi, how are you? Okay, what do you message right away? So you message after they accept. So I always would say, hey, thanks so much for accepting my friend request. You know, I thought I would reach out because we had this in common, or I thought I'd reach out because I am super passionate about helping women do X, Y, and Z, whatever it is. And I just love collecting other awesome women in my network. What do you do? Something initially right away that brings your energy, that tells them what you're all about. And that really, like, I think people worry about seeming shady, so don't be shady. Like, pull the blinds apart and be really open and honest about what you do. Great. Any other questions if you guys have on this? I'm just gonna scroll through. I think we're good. This is the last questions. Awesome. So let's get this post done. I'm going to give us 5 more minutes here. Set a timer for 5 minutes so you can get your post up and scheduled or out if you haven't today.
I can't set the timer for a
Shush you. Set a timer for 5 minutes.
Okay.
There we
5
go.
minutes and counting.
All right. I don't typically like to scroll other people's posts for ideas because I lose my voice. So really making this a priority, I always say our posts are they're like the gas in the engine that is our business. Without it, it's what starts it up, right? It's what helps us move. It's what gives people something to connect with and learn a little bit about us for. And then we use, the oil or whatever else is involved in a car is what our invitations, our adding followers, the things that move us forward. But you need the gas to start the engine, and that's what our posting is. And the more you can be genuine, the more you can really tap into that story side. And for me, this is the hardest part. And for others, they do it so eloquently. But I would not watch other people. Okay, Mike, you asked, sorry, I stepped away from okay, what is the post? So your daily post, Mike. So I like to follow a schedule. I was saying that, following a schedule will set you free if you're someone who gets really stuck in posting. So on Mondays, I post a personal story, something that definitely is tied to the fact that I'm focusing on living a healthy and fit life, or maybe it's specific to the workout that you're doing. On Tuesday, I post a quote, Wednesday, a workout move, Thursday, something personal that's maybe more directed around coaching. Friday's a recipe, Saturday about family, and Sunday are your results. So you can make your post about whatever you want right now, but I like to use a schedule because I find it very easily to get like deer in the headlights frozen if I'm sitting down each day and have 10 minutes to create a post. Alexandra, did you write out your story? Did you chunk it? Yeah, I have to keep writing out my story. I think one of the, like I was saying earlier in this, that so much about connecting with others and being genuine socially. I'm glad you're super committed to your schedule. So much about that is knowing you. And I actually find when you get lost in your journey, like I grew up with 2 really positive parents, and I love that. They taught me to always see, the glass half full. But I think sometimes I forget and I shove things under a rug and I pretend that negativity never even happened. So it's really important, I think, writing, a couple times a week really helps me to pull stories out. And just like posting, it is a skill. So the more you do it, the better you get at writing. So journaling, the B100 book is amazing for this that we're using right now in MM100. So yeah, I would write out your story. I'd write it again and again and again and make note of the things that pop up in your life that remind you of your story so that you can take pieces of that and share with others. Awesome. We're going to move into our actual little stories next. So let's get that post up and scheduled or up and out. And the little hacker I would say here, if you're posting on Facebook, if you post it from your laptop or from your desktop or your computer, you can add it right to your story at the same time. So you can post it to both places. And I think that's a critical tip because some people, we know that people only see a certain percentage of what we post, or only a certain percentage of people see what we post. And we know that stories are hot, hot, hot. People will watch stories before they'll read what you're saying. So making sure that you post it to both can really help expand who gets to see your stuff. Yay for schedules. How are we doing on time here? I think the last thing I would like to say about this stuff, and why I like to number to do the hard things first, right? Getting my I like to do the things that I need full concentration on first in the day, when you have the most energy. People talk about willpower being a muscle, but it's not a muscle, it's an energy, and you run out of energy in a day for sure. And if someone interrupts you, or if something's challenging for you and you get interrupted, it's really easy to stay focused and on task. So I like to make sure I have that post schedule. I like to make sure to get my invites out, and I like to make sure to add to my network really consciously, because things like following up and responding to notifications, which are on here as well, are really important. But I can do those while I pee. So can you. You can do them while you're walking your dog. You can do them while you're waiting for hot water to boil. You can do them very easily in many different ways. Okay, there's our timer on that post. We're gonna move into stories, which is the next step here on this action. On our action thing. And I want to give you a tip, because this is just another thing for me. I really struggled just sharing parts of my day. One, I don't love requiring me to be on social any more than my work time. I feel very strongly that if you want, you can be very successful in this business, working a 25-hour work week with it. And you shouldn't have to be on social media all day, all night. You just shouldn't, unless it's something you love and you want. So here's, I love right in here, they say update your IG and your Facebook stories throughout the day. I think if you should pick one social platform that is the one that you work it until you've mastered it and have the time to add another one on. But there is a lot of benefit in posting your stories and your initial post to both of those and let them grow, even if you're not working it super hard in the other one. So make sure you're posting to both. And like I said, specifically in Facebook, make sure when you post your Facebook post for the day that you add it to your stories also. Because then they give you some really great prompts right in here: daily life, workout clips, product use, healthy meal or meal prep, invitation. You can do all of these things right here. But there was a great podcast I listened to by Chalene Johnson. I think in October, you'd see it on her podcast of Build Your Tribe. And it was all about like a great formula for Instagram stories. And she gave a great acronym. It's REDIC, REDIC. So one of your 5 posts should be relatable, something that's helping you connect with other people. One should be educating, so a tip that helps someone, improve. One should create dialogue, so maybe you ask someone a question or you ask them to start thinking about something. One should create interaction, so a poll or a question in there. And then one should create a way to capture either their email or get them to reach out to you, that kind of thing. And that's a really great little formula that I loved to follow as I was finding my voice in stories. All of these things, some of you might naturally do well in any of these areas, or you might find them easier than others, but they're all skills. And the more you do them, the more consistently you do them, the easier it all becomes. And suddenly your action hour will either take half the time or you'll be able to accomplish twice as much if you nail it consistently. But don't lose sight of the fact that this is it's just a skill, and it gets better the more you do it. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys 5 minutes to do your stories. I know it says 3 per story, so that's really 15, but I want to keep it tight here, and I'm going to answer some questions. Where did I find that info? So in October, Chalene Johnson, in her Build Your Tribe podcast, did a podcast on this. I think it's really specific to Instagram stories. That's where I found that. It was great. REDIC, REDIC. Relatable, educate, create dialogue, create interaction, and create a way to capture them, whether it's their email or getting them drawing into you. So let's set a time here for, I'll give you 5 minutes to do your 5 stories, and because then we're gonna move right into inviting before we wrap. Yes, exactly, REDIC, REDIC, like ridiculous. Sorry. I love Chalene. She's so funny. Chalene Johnson, Shalene. I think. I hope I didn't butcher that. That would be really awful. Okay, so let's get through this part. Thank you, Casey. Shalene Johnson. Oh yeah, okay. Alexandra. Okay, so Monday was a personal story. And I really think these things, like they're supposed to inspire. They might be genuine. They might talk about a tough part of your story, but they're supposed to inspire others, right? And make it about how you're living this life, how it makes an impact for you. We're trying to inspire. Tuesday's a quote. Wednesday's a workout move. Thursday is a workout move that you pull right from your workout program. Thursday is another personal story, maybe about how coaching has impacted you, how this decision to do this has impacted you. Friday could be a recipe that you share that your family loved. Saturday with just a general family time post. And you can mix these up. This is just what works well for me. And Sunday are your results. You need to share your results or results from someone in your challenge. But if you're going to be the light for others, starting with you is such an important thing that you do. I hope that helps. Let me see more. There we go. I think I responded to those. Awesome. Got a minute and a half left here, guys. And then we'll move right into inviting, which, as I said, is such a critical thing. Yeah, having ideas, I think it's so important because we're tired people, we're busy people. It's really easy to get writer's block or just forget what you're supposed to do or sit down for your action hour and spend half the time not knowing what you're doing. And that's why having a routine and having systems will always set you free, because once these things become habit, you get to just sit down and do them, right? And it moves forward. So that's your focus with this. It's, that's the point of the 100 MM100. I love that is let's get people achieving 100 workouts. And for you guys as coaches, if you've nailed that as a part of your life, because 100 times is going to make something a habit, then you should be searching to do 100 days of your action hours or 100 action hours, that kind of thing. That's my tip. Okay. All right. So let's move on to inviting, because I think this is obviously one of the most important pieces that we do. Although, like I said earlier, it all ties together, right? Everything we do ties together. Each step in this action plan fuels the next thing. If we don't start with us, we have nothing to say or a story to share. If we don't post, then we don't have we don't have anything for when we invite people to see, right? And we don't have people to invite because we don't have followers, we don't have people connecting with us. So all of these things really tie into the next. If we don't invite, we don't have anyone to follow up with. All of these things matter. So inviting, here's a great thing. Or actually, the next step says on here, respond to all new likes, comments, or views. You can do that while you pee. I said that earlier, so I'm going to let you do that on your time, because I think anything that can be done really quickly, you should be able to do in the little cracks of your life outside of the key action hour. If you have time at the end of your action hour, great, do it then. But the most important things that happen are the other things first. You want to get those done because that's what's going to drive reactions and people to respond to. So you want to invite people every single day, of course. I love bulk inviting. I focus on inviting a chunk of people every day. Half the time to challenge, half the time to have a one-on-one conversation. And here's what I'd say to you. I love doing, happy hours or sneak peek groups and things like that. But what's working really well for me right now is inviting people just to have a conversation about coaching. Are you interested in setting a time one-on-one to talk? Because here's the thing, if you get in front of someone and you start to get comfortable talking about this coaching opportunity right here, right now, it's going to be a lot easier in the long run for you to continue having those conversations, and people get to hear your voice. This is why video is so big, because we get to connect on a different level. No, we're not officially face-to-face here, but one-on-one, if you're talking to someone about coaching, you can really get to know them a little bit better and get the point across. And it teaches you to share a little bit better or more poignantly, or to share what works, and it teaches you faster, right, in your active experience, as opposed to always pointing people to another group. So that would be something I'd challenge you with. As we invite people, and I personally like to in bulk invite, so one day I'm focused on inviting to challenge, one day I'm focused on inviting to be a coach. Here's who I invite. I invite, if each day I'm focused in my posts and my stories, sharing something really personal about this journey, sharing a workout move, sharing, what I love about coaching. If I'm focused on that in my stories as well, those are the people that I'm inviting to start with. I'm inviting the people who are engaging with my stuff. So when I sit down on Monday, and personally, here's how my morning goes. Alarm goes off at 4. I pop my AirPods in my ears. I listen to something to get that mindset right and get my juices flowing. I get dressed in my workout gear, and as I drink my Energize, I pound out my invites and I get my post out. So before I even push play on my workout at 5 a.m., I've already done some of the toughest parts of my business, and in a time where I have the most energy, fueled by my PD. So that works really well for me, is to get that done earlier as opposed to putting it in this hour later in the day. The sooner I can get something done in the day, the better chance it's going to getting done, because the day goes on and life happens, right? So that's what I like to do, is I will sit down, and when I'm inviting people to find out more information. I'm not inviting them to commit to a challenge unless we're at that point in our conversation. I like to thank people for showing up on my posts. Like, thank you so much for engaging with my post about how this program has changed my life. I don't know where you are in your fitness journey. I have a new group starting soon that I'm really excited about because this has made such a difference for me. Is this something you want the quick details on? That's how my inviting happens. It's from my heart, it's genuine and humble, and it's full of energy. So I make sure to invite everybody who has engaged with my stuff and has also watched my stories. And I think that is a fair thing to invite, because if you're taking in my content, and you're especially more than once, then I want to reach out and invite you to the party, because it is great over here. That's what I'm going for. And that is just how I genuinely feel. So, and the other thing I love about that is if this helps, it's a great key business indicator. If you go to sit down and do your invites and you don't have a lot of people there, then it's time for you to dig a little deeper in your posts and make sure you're adding more people to your network, right? Each thing inspires the next thing and drives energy in the next thing. So making sure that you're digging deeper in those posts, that you're sharing stuff that people love. As a CEO, we need to look at our business analytics and be like, okay, well, I shared a recipe, and my people don't like recipes. So instead of sharing recipes on Friday, I'm not even going to share a recipe then. I'm going to give people more of what they want. Give the people what they want at the party. That's my tip for you. So sit down right now, let's pound out some great invites that come from your heart and invite people to learn more from you. You can always get on the phone with them, you can always voice message them, but now is that time to start inviting all the people who have been engaging with your posts and your stories from yesterday. So I'm going to give you guys 5 minutes to do that. I know that's not the full amount of time, but I want to talk about following up one more time before we wrap up this action hour. And I want to encourage you to rip this Band-Aid off these invites faster and in the beginning of your day when you have the most energy, like eating that frog first if this is the hardest piece for you. Okay, 5 minutes starting now. Let's get these invites out. And feel free to ask me questions. I'll take a peek. I obviously got my invites out this morning, so if you have questions, let me know. And the other thing I'll say, I said it earlier, but just in case you didn't hear me, when I send out an invite, the moment someone comes back and says they're interested, I will put their name on my hot list, so I never lose them. Hi Jane, happy birthday. I think it's your birthday today. I just saw that on Facebook. So I was gonna message you, but here's my big in front of everybody, happy birthday, Jane. Who else do I recommend for personal growth, podcasts? Okay, well right now I'm listening to Atomic Habits by James Clear. He spoke at Summit, which was awesome. And also Brene Brown, who really helps me. And I like to make sure my PD is focused, right? It's focused on what it is that I need. So Brene Brown really helps me dig into my story and be open and vulnerable. I find, Rachel Hollis, I love her stuff. She's got great energy. So those podcasts are great. Lots of skill stuff I find from Jenna Kutcher and from Shalene Johnson, right, on their free podcast. But you want to start paying attention to what motivates you and look for those people and what they're providing, because finding people that fuel you is such a good kind of life hack, right? Awesome. These are great questions. 2.5 minutes to get those rest of those invites out. The other thing I would say to you that's working that I think is really important, if you've been a coach for a little while, make sure you're going into your customer list, past customers, and email those people individually. Invite them to have a conversation one-on-one. Be honest about where you're taking your business and do they want to have a conversation. And at the very least, you might find they're just ready to get back on their journey if maybe they've fallen off the wagon. But you just go into your Coach Online office, you click on customers, or monitor my business, my customers, and start there. We have all these great customers already, and pulling them back in, retaining these people, really showing up for the ones that have already taken a chance with you is a valuable opportunity. Okay, you guys, we have 4 minutes left of this action hour, and so I do want to talk a little bit about following up, because it is such a critical piece. If we don't follow up with people, they forget, life gets busy. We spend a lot of time on social media. So we assume everyone else does, and they do not. People have busy lives. We're building businesses here on social media. That's why we're there all the time. But a lot of people aren't on social media all the time. Or hey, have you ever given your child your phone and didn't realize that they opened half your messages, or something pops up and they clicked? It just happened to me today. My daughter had my phone for a minute. Someone had texted me, and then the text went unread because she tapped it or something. So following up is our way of showing people that we were serious and that we're still here and we're going to be here. Making sure that you are showing up and following up consistently with people is a critical part of showing that we're going to be there. I think that's just, it's really that simple. So again, I love to bulk follow up. Friday's my follow up day, follow up Friday. And I make sure to go there and on Friday, and I take a look at my customer hot list and my business hot list that I've been building all month long or last month, and I make sure to follow up with everyone on there. And I could even go back further, but this is where we don't lose sight of people. So you can follow up a little bit every single day with maybe people from a few days before or people you're waiting on, or you can bulk follow up one day a week if that works best with your schedule. But following up is so important, and remember to just come from your heart, be genuine and honest. And I love to give people permission to say no to me. I want them to know that I'm not only here to get a yes, I'm here to help them live a healthy and fulfilling life. And if now is not that time, that I will be here next month to follow up with them. Okay, guys, I think that is what I have for you guys today. Yes, Jane, lots of past customers feel like they failed if they gave up or stopped in your groups. Letting them know that they're always welcome is a great message. It's a great way to pull these people back in. We're trying to help people make this a habit, make healthy living something that is just a part of our life, like brushing our teeth. It's really a movement that we're starting to create here. I hope this helps you guys. Have an incredible rest of your week. Crush those action hours. Make it the most important part of building your business each day. And I promise you, before you know it, you will be building a business that you're proud of and making changes in lives all over the world. Have a good day, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.